Living with a narc breaks your mind. We already covered breaking the body. It also breaks your mind. All the ways the narc abuses you are devastating to your emotional health. We got the body breaking down. That's bad enough. That's not all. Living with a narc is going to break down your body and your emotional health. The criticism, the anger, getting triggered by everything. Narcs are triggered by everything. They're incredibly insecure and have to be in control and have to have their own way. It's like a 4-year-old, and they just have to get everything their own way. Well, that's ridiculous. He's an adult man. Doesn't make any difference. And so all kinds of things will trigger him. I heard a story today, and it's over the dumbest things you can possibly imagine. This couple's in an airport. You know, airports are kind of crazy, and they were maneuvering through, and the wife, who in this case it was the wife was the narc. She wanted to get something to eat, and the husband said, "You know what? We're kind of pressed on time. I think that I want to go down to the gate, make sure everything's set, the plane's there, and kind of get set, and then we still have some time, and I'll get some food on the way back, and we'll be fine." Well, she had the world's biggest fit right there in the airport because she didn't get her way. Really? That's a trigger? That's ridiculous. It's always over the stupidest things. And it's a massive reaction. Mocking you, a normal man would never mock you. He mocks you. He shuts you down. He gives you the silent treatment. Narcs love giving you the silent treatment, shutting you down. Taking away your authority as a parent, classic. Controlling the money. It's always his money. Even if you make more than he does, doesn't make a difference. He makes the decisions on the money. Controlling your life. You're like this. And this is something I just heard recently. But classic narcdom. A little over the top even for a narc. But the lady said, "You know what?" And she was deadly serious. "We get married, and in the first year, my husband was instructing me how to wipe my bottom in the bathroom." He was giving her literally instructions. I said, "You've got to be kidding me." That's what narcs do. They know everything. You know what? Let me decide how I handle myself in the bathroom. It's ridiculous. They will control everything. The way you wear your hair, the way you wipe your bottom, the way you interact with your family and friends, and often you're isolated from them. Everything. What you can say, what you can do. The narc's abuse causes a lot of emotional problems, depression, anxiety, all kinds of things, but it also causes you to lose yourself. And that may be the worst thing it does to you. Because with a narc, you can't share your opinions. After a while, if you have the same opinion as he does, hey, we're fine, hunky-dory. Hey, he loves that because he's right about everything. If you have a different opinion, and the blonde and I, Sandy and I, we're different people. We agree on many things, but we disagree on things. That makes for a nice conversation. It's not a problem. She doesn't have a fit. I don't have a fit if she doesn't agree with me. I'm not right about everything, but opinions are opinions. It's not even right or wrong. After a while, you stop sharing your opinions because you get your head bitten off. You can't share your emotions. You can't bring up difficult topics. He doesn't want to deal with those things. You can't disagree. You can't share your needs. He could care less about your needs. His needs are all that count. You can't laugh at things you think are funny. That should be in the Constitution, but no, not with him. You can't tease the narc because they're super sensitive, incredibly insecure. Really? Grow the heck up. In fact, he won't. You can't make your own decisions. You can't have input on family decisions. Those are his choices. You can't know anything about his finances. You can't have relationships with family and friends. Often you'll be cut off from those people. Now, oddly enough, it's fine to hang out with his family, his mommy, his daddy, his brother and sister. Oh, that's okay. His friends, that's fine. But not your people. Ridiculous. Abusive, actually. You can't be an effective mom because he's turning the kids against you. You're not yourself anymore. In fact, you aren't anyone. He's turned you into just a blank slate. The narc systematically and intentionally takes away who you are. So what's left? What's left of you? Nothing. Nothing. You become a nobody. The narc works very hard and very successfully in many cases to turn you into a person who simply doesn't matter. He's the only one that matters. This especially affects your relationship with your children. Your children lose respect for you. Since you're not allowed to speak and you have to do everything he says, they're not going to start listening to you. They're going to disrespect you. Your own children will side with the narc and abuse you. The narc doesn't love you, doesn't listen to you, doesn't respect you, and doesn't value you. All that, it looked like you had that during courtship, when he was a wonderful dater and loved you and was crazy about you and was love bombing you. You were sure that was your soulmate, that he was just the perfect man for you. After marriage, it's like a light switch, very commonly. He wants everyone, including your own children, to feel the same way about you, that you don't matter. A normal husband would never do that. A normal husband loves his wife and cherishes her and works very hard to fulfill Ephesians 5:25. Love your wives as Christ loved the church, husbands, and gave himself up for her. You are to uplift her. You are to empower her. You are to make her happy the best way you can. You are to encourage her in her creativity, in her mothering, in every part of her life. That's what a normal man does. Well, narcs never do that. Quite the opposite. They take everything from you. Now, the emotional impact of being a person who doesn't matter is devastating. In addition to losing yourself, which is awful, you'll be depressed. So it'll be hard to function. And when you can't function well, guess who's going to blame you and mock you for that? The very person who has created the depression and the fact that you can't function well. You'll have crippling anxiety, and he will mock you for that too. Why are you so anxious all the time? He's the one causing it, but it's your problem. You'll experience panic attacks. Have you ever had, any of you, I know some of you have, maybe any of you have had a panic attack? You will never forget a true panic attack when you've had one. It is terrifying. Your pulse rate goes crazy. You are sure you're having a heart attack. You're sweating, your whole system. Oh my, you go to the emergency room, your heart's fine. You can't believe it. The narc causes that. And if you have one, it's easier to have more. You have emotional meltdowns, crying, sobbing, losing it, and he'll mock you for that too. And you'll say to the kids, look at mom, she's losing it. She's crazy. And you look crazy. It's because he's made you crazy. Mental breakdowns. I talked to many ladies and men who've ended up in a mental ward because they break down under the relentless attacks of the narc. You'll think about harming yourself, something you would never do with a normal man. You'll develop all kinds of eating disorders. You live in a state of confusion. You'll have brain fog. I can't think clearly. You'll think you're losing your mind. Self-esteem ruined. Confidence destroyed. That's what the narc does. He will brook no competition. He wants to be everything. The absolute spotlight has to be on him, and so you've got to be destroyed. You lose your identity, as I said, who you are, what you think, what you feel. You lose your personality. That's who you are too. You feel helpless and hopeless. Does any of this resonate with you? I'll bet it does. The narc is breaking your mind, and there was only one solution. Save yourself, and frankly, your children, if you have them, and leave the narc. But the beginning is realizing, oh, what this Dr. Clarke is saying is true. This is my experience. Nobody wants to realize, oh, I'm married to a narcissist. I should have realized. I didn't realize. I'm married to one. And you have to get past the minimizing, the explaining away, the following what many in the church say. Keep loving him and pray for him. And you're probably part of the problem too. And all the dumb stuff they say. You have to submit. And if you just love him, he'll change. No, he won't. It's called enabling. He's never gonna change. You may be asking, okay, Dave, maybe the light is starting to dawn here, but how do I leave? I mean, it's easy to say leave. I've got the complete step-by-step escape plan for you. That's what this ministry is all about. I'm not going to talk to you. If you've decided to stay with your narc, if you would say, okay, I'm married to a narcissist, but I'm staying, don't bother calling me, don't bother reading my books. They're not going to help you. Because this whole ministry is based on understanding narcissism, stripping away your codependency, breaking your trauma bond, getting you strong enough, empowering you so that you can leave him and divorce him and save yourself and your children. That's what we do here. So you go to my website, davideclarke.phd.com, Clarke with an E, you'll see everything we have there. There are video series from codependent to independent. Is experiencing a surge. God is at work, and more ladies and men are buying that, and it's making a huge difference. We have a series of books designed from step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way through the process. 20 lies. You start with 20 lies, the codependent piece, the lies you believe, the lies he teaches you, the lies the church tells you, and beginning to strip those away and take steps to empower yourself. Then we move to Enough is Enough, my Moody Publishers book. It'll describe exactly what a narc is and the steps that you begin to take to leave him and the biblical support for doing so. Then, okay, you're divorcing him. You're going to talk to me. I'm going to say divorce him. He's not changing. Escaping your narcissist, step by step. I don't recommend divorce without telling you what to expect, do's, don'ts, the legal process. Very important. And then after you're through with him, as I said before, you got to heal. I didn't want a divorce. Now what? You have to heal. And for along the way, I will be free, the devotional to encourage you, the stories of other women, mostly, and some men that will encourage and sustain you through the process. We have the steps laid out. I have no interest in working with narcs because they don't change. And as many of you have done, and I do a number of these every week, you can do a phone advice session with me. There are many people in my situation who no longer talk to people. I'm not one of them. I love people and I love talking to them. So you can have a phone advice session with me. I'll get the background and I'll tell you definitively if you've got a narc or not. I'll help you whatever process you're in with the children, saving your relationship with the children, or building a support team, getting strong enough, working on your codependency. It's a one-time session, but it can make a big difference. I'll recommend a few books, maybe a video series. It'll be a step in the right direction, a big step.